Hi everyone, Parker Glynn-Adey here. I'm currently at Bishop's University for the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning in Higher Education pre-conference. So we're having sort of a day at Bishop's University of workshops and discussions about Scholarship of Teaching and Learning, and it is awesome. Today I attended my first workshop, which was on just STHLE research in general. How to get involved in STHLE research. What does it look like? How do you do it? How do you get ethics permission? All this kind of stuff. So really fascinating workshop. We focused on each participant in the workshop developed a research project that they would like to work on, and that helped keep things a little bit more concrete. So we could always refer back to that project and say, okay, how would this slide influence my project? Which was super duper helpful for me, because I often find these education things get a little theoretical or sort of pie in the sky kind of thinking. However, this time it was very focused, and that was excellent. So the topic that I was thinking about was how to measure the effectiveness of graded homework assignments in large first-year calculus courses. So if you're in one of my courses, I'm sure you know there's lots of assignments and there's lots of work to do. And how effective are these things in producing learning outcomes and teaching the material, really? How effective are graded assignments as a teaching tool? So as soon as I posed this question to the group, they said, okay, well, what do you mean by effective? What do you want to do with that? How do you, what do you mean by effective? And, immediately that got me thinking about things I'd never thought about. It was just immediately, a whole new ball game, and it was awesome. The first thing that came to mind would be to do sort of forced concept inventory, like a list of things that you understand in calculus before the course, and then post-course forced concept inventory, and try and make that sort of an objective measure, something from outside University of Toronto that have been developed independently of the course. And that was the first thing that came to mind for me as to how to measure the effectiveness of these kinds of things. And someone in the audience said, oh, yeah, you want to do a forced concept inventory. That'll work, in this way, and, this is what we know about that kind of thing. What you really got to focus on is what are the assignments doing? As much as you want to abstract away the assignments, you got to really pay attention to what they're doing. And that made sense to me, I started looking at possibilities, instead of graded assignments, maybe we could have a list of suggested exercises and you go do that. Or maybe we could do some kind of semi-graded assignments, kind of like what I'm doing in Math B41 right now. So if you're in Math B41, the assignments work like this. You answer all the questions, then we select a subset of them and grade just those questions. So it's sort of halfway between a graded assignment and an ungraded assignment. So yeah, how effective is that? How effective is a big list of suggested exercises that are never graded but are strongly encouraged and are referred back to? So that opens up a whole bunch of different ways of setting up the experiment. You don't have to do just one class has grades and the other class has no grades. And I never thought of these kinds of things as researchable questions before. And that was very exciting to get involved with a group of people who wanted to push that, who wanted to go there and talk about those kinds of things. One of the other really fascinating things about being at this conference for me is just the variety of people who are there. I tend to associate primarily with instructors and teachers of various sorts, but there's all sorts of other people here. There's people who do university space management, who gets to lay out the student lounges and how effective are those spaces for learning. And they're concerned with questions like, Are the students using the space in the most efficient way possible? Are the instructors tailoring their teaching to the resources that are available to them? How can we facilitate that? And that's fascinating. That's a whole broad list of people who I very rarely interact with, and it's neat to see how broad the scholarship of teaching and learning community is in Canada. There's also a lot of folks from Centers for Teaching and Learning, and it's nice to meet more people like them. I really like the Robert Gillespie Academic Skills Center at Mississauga and the people who work there, and it's nice to meet more people who work in teaching and learning communities, so that's very nice. And to meet people from all over Canada. There's a lot of Quebecois here, but there's people from the East Coast, there's people from the West Coast. It's nice to be making these connections and to see kind of the broader picture of teaching and learning, because my view had been very narrow before. And I'm really happy to be at Scholarship of Teaching and Learning in Higher Education 2018 to get exposed to these opportunities. So thanks for watching. I'll keep you posted about how the rest of the conference goes. Bye-bye.